we should know as we are passengers, that we are going in an aeroplane as passengers. So this is a technical presentation. The technical information is almost over, but now something is really interesting to you, connect with you all, right? So we have some facts and figures of your flying experience, certain things you might not have even heard about it. So to introduce the next speaker, I would like to invite the organizer or the coordinator back.
Because you need a real technical presentation. And now, in order to tell you some facts which you should know about the flights, let me call a well-experienced person who has been in the field of physics for the last 24 years. A teacher by profession, and who currently heads the Department of Physics at Delhi Public School, Delhi Private School, Sharjah. Madam Toastmaster Rasita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Praveen. Do you have any specific beliefs about a plane or a flight? Or do you think all planes fly? Do you think all planes fly?
Yes.
No, planes in the garage do not fly. Today, let me tell you some facts about flight. First of all, do you believe that a plane can fly on its own using an autopilot?
Yes.
Is it possible to perform an organ transplant in hospitals with the latest machine without doctors?
No.
Similarly, a plane cannot fly automatically. It needs a pilot. Next, can you guess what would be the color of black box?
Orange.
It is orange. And can you tell me how many black boxes are there in a plane? Yes, exactly, two. The function is, one is the voice data recorder, and the second one is the flight data recorder. That is, one is cockpit voice recorder. And any guess where is it located?
Inside the plane.
Of course, but it is at the tail end of the plane. Now, do you know that different food from different kitchen is served to the pilot and co-pilot? Yes. The reason is, if one food is contaminated and one suffers, the other pilot will take you home safely. And also to rule out the possibility of sabotage by terrorists. The next one. Why are the window blinds kept open? Isn't it annoying when the crew comes and tells you, straighten your seat and keep your window blinds open? Remember, this is for your own safety. While keeping the blinds open, the passenger and crew can see the outside of the plane in case of emergency and can plan the rescue accordingly. And at the same time, for the rescuers to see the inside of the plane. Next, do you know that most of the plane crash occurs during the first 3 minutes and the last 8 minutes of the journey? This 11th minute is the most crucial part of the journey. And keep in mind, when the crew gives special instructions, listen to them carefully and be alert during the first 3 and the last 8 minutes of the journey. Now coming to the next. Why are cabin lights dimmed during takeoff and landing at night? The reason is so that the passenger's eyes get adjusted to the outside light, so that in case of emergency or a spark is seen, it is if the passengers are able to see easily. And last of all, which is your preferred seat in a flight? Window seat? Aisle seat? Now, just keep in mind, the safest place in the flight is the rear seat. And statistics have shown that the safest, the least damaged part of the flight is the tail end or the last seat of the flight. So next time we book a ticket, see that the last seat of the flight. Now,
Front seats are
to
more
sum
costly
up,
when you choose.
and just given all the points, keep in mind all these points, that is autopilot, without using an autopilot alone, the flight cannot fly by itself. And black box is located at the rear end. The different food specially is served to the pilot and co-pilot. Window blinds, please keep it open when the crew tells you to keep it open. And remember, don't sleep during the first 3 and the last 8 minutes. And dim light, don't say, I want to read, and during that time, so please listen to the instructions given by the crew. And next time, please reserve your seat for the last seat. And with this, I call upon our team leader, Mr.
Postmaster Reghunath also to be here. This part will be the question and answer sessions. You have any questions?
Yes.
I and my team will
You
be
say that
ready.
plane cannot be flight on autopilot mode. Then how does this drone aircrafts they function without the pilot?
That is not a passenger flight.
Otherwise also, the drones are like a remote controlled plane. You have a remote
Yeah,
controlled
planes.
plane. It's the same technology. Somebody is sitting on the ground and controlling the plane, including trajectory, direction. Everything is controlled from the ground.
It's not an aircraft, right?
It's not an aircraft. It's an aircraft.
It's an aircraft.
But you can carry weights.
It can carry weights. Yes.
On this.
Well, they are carrying missiles, bombs, and all. Drones are used for attacking also. It is well.
How long the black box can survive?
1 month.
Around 30 days.
That's a battery life. Otherwise, this is waterproof, damage-proof, shock-proof, everything proof.
Irrespective of the place where it is. Recently for the Malaysian Airlines.
Yeah, even if you can find it, you can retrieve the data. The only thing you cannot find it because the SOS signal from the battery, from the black box will be
Yeah,
stopped.
the
when the battery dies.
beeping function will be stopped, but you can.
That's it. If you find
Once you
it,
get it back-
after 100 years, if you find it, you can decode the data. No problem.
Why they are asking us to switch off the mobile while taking off?
In order not to have radio interference, actually. There are a lot of electronic equipments in the plane, so probably these signals could interfere with it.
With the communication of the pilot.
Why are the business class and first class in the front when the safest parts are the back? Why do they pay more?
People who pay more money are different.
But research shows that it is
This is statistical information.
Yeah.
The statistical
You usually travel in business class or economic class?
That's a
Wherever the price
forbidden question.
If you pay more, you will sit in the balcony in the cinema.
Yeah.
No, I think
Can
I
you
was
give some more
com-
information about the Anato 124 aircraft? You said only one was manufactured.
AN224. The second is under manufacturing.
Who is the which
Russians.
country and where it
Russians.
is?
It's Russians.
Still it is operational?
It's operation.
The one with-
NLC?
Yeah, this plane moves for different purposes. It moves as a repair for the cargo movement.
If
Initially,
you-
it was designed to
Nagarajan,
carry the space shuttles.
if you watch the movie 2012,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
in
there.
that there's a model.
Yeah, it is there.
The one with 6 engines?
Okay.
Is this the one with 6 engines? Is this the one?
Yeah,
It's
there's
the
a
last
model.
one, Russian plane.
There's an old Russian plane model
Six.
in 2012.
Okay, in this, so the plane of six engines, you say that its minimum takeoff distance is 640,000 kilo.
Yeah.
What could be the passenger? What is it? Oh, it's a cargo.
It's a cargo
It
aircraft.
won't be a passenger.
No, it is not designed to carry passengers, but however, like 3-layer or 4-layer
Yeah.
passenger
So in
capacity, you
effect,
can.
in effect, it has the space for only 50 or 60,000 kilogram.
No,
Because you say that 640,000 is the weight.
minus the empty weight.
Minus 240.
See,
285.
285 you said it's an empty plane,
Yeah, that's a plane
and
weight.
300,000 you said for the fuel.
With the fuel, 300,000 kilograms is for the fuel.
So it comes to 585, right?
Yes.
585.
And you said there is only 640,000 is the takeoff weight.
640,000 is the total takeoff weight. So what they do is if they want to carry more weight, they reduce the amount of fuel.
Which normally happens.
There is a
Normally
amount of
happens. Even planes while flying also they discard fuel if they have to do an emergency landing on it.
So that's what they do.
No, no, yeah. I'm talking about
They can
the
reduce
initial
the fuel
takeoff.
to half.
But still.
They can reduce the fuel to half. So another 150,000 kilograms can be added.
So with the fully loaded plane, they can only take 65,000.
Yeah.
When do you expect the hypersonic?
Hypersonic is already on. Right now the available hypersonic are the space shuttles.
But they don't feel that.
Now there is one aeroplane that is PAK-50 is under manufacturing with the collaboration of Indian and Russian aviation industry. So they are coming out with the 5th generation supersonic plane, that is PAK-50, which could fly at, I heard it can be at a 5 Mach speed.
This is exactly to launch the space shuttle.
No.
So, what is this technology? Afterburner technology. Can anybody in this room tell? Yes. Let me put it in layman's language. What is this? Can anybody tell me what this is? Chili. Red chilies. And what will happen if you have 4 of them tonight? What will happen?
Party will spoil.
You will have a really good effect tomorrow morning, isn't it? And that is exactly this afterburner technology. And in order to introduce you to this technology, I am very fortunate to have one of my ex-colleagues from the Indian Air Force here. And he will be taking you through this hot technology, which is the afterburner technology. He is an expert on engines and aeroplanes, and he will be taking you through this technology. He is none other than the afterburner of advanced Toastmasters, Toastmaster Reghunath.
Thank you, Toastmaster Praveen. Can you put up the red light, please? Yes, it reminds me of the afternoon. Okay, so taking you through one of the technologies. Now, the theory of flight was well explained by Toastmaster Praveen. So we don't have an aviation engineering. It takes at least 4 to 5 years for you to learn, which cannot be done in 30 minutes of time. So I'll just introduce one of the technologies which is not so simple, which can be explained in 30 minutes of time or 10 minutes of time. That is a lot of people. Because when I used to teach the afterburner system in the aviation colleges, we 19 working days to teach an afterburner system. Allotted with 19 working days to teach to the students. But I'll put it in 10 minutes to you. Coming there, let us understand a basic aircraft engine. This is a typical jet engine. This is an R25 engine. I prefer this picture because I worked on this engine for 17 years. R25 fighter jet engine. There are different types of engines. One is called a turboprop, which he has already said. This will be screwing into the air, which is with the help of a propeller. And we have turbojet engines, and there's a turbofan engine, which is something similar to a turboprop, but the fan is inside, multiple fans you can see. And this is a turbojet engine, which he has already explained you a little bit about. And there is turbo shaft, as the picture describes, you know this is used for the helicopters. And there is another one, which is the fastest ramjet engine. You don't find any rotating parts over here. This is used in missiles and rocket technologies. So which can make it, even today we are speaking about not about supersonic speeds, about hypersonic speed. That means 5 to 7 times the speed of a sound. So you just can imagine, maybe 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 kilometers per hour speed aircraft is flying. So coming on to the turbojet engines, let us quickly understand there is a fan in the front and there is a low pressure compressor. This is the basic engine, and there is a high pressure compressor, and there is a low pressure shaft in the middle, and there is a high pressure shaft. And after this you find a high pressure turbine and low pressure turbine, and in between you find a combustion chamber over here where the combustion is happening. And this is the exhaust. Through the exhaust, when high pressure fuel and air mixture is poured out, the plane moves forward at a very high speed. So this is another engine which is called Eurojet EJ200 engine. This belongs to one of the most advanced, latest fighter planes made by UK and another 3 other countries. It is called a Eurofighter Typhoon. So this is one of the most amazing engines I have come across ever. That's why I put the picture over here. So to explain about the technology of this engine, I always get on my toes. So amazing machineries. And another big question when it comes to aircraft engine, because we know it consumes a lot of fuel. But in our cars, if you want to ignite a little bit of petrol, which is coming through a small pipe, what you need to do is a small spark plug. It can ignite it. Because this is highly inflammable. The petrol is highly inflammable. But whereas in the aviation, the fuel that is used is called ATF, aviation turbine fuel. This is not so highly inflammable like your petrol or even like a diesel. It is like a purified kerosene. So what happens is you need a very high power ignition source. So in an aircraft, a huge amount of volume of fuel is to be ignited. You would need a huge amount of ignition, which will increase a lot of weight onto the aircraft and the size onto the aircraft, which is not recommended. So they use a different technology called a torch igniter. So what's happening in a torch igniter is, now you can see liquid fuel is coming inside this chamber. This is a different chamber, small chamber. This is not the combustion chamber, it is connected inside. And you have air inlet gas. So you can see the fuel and the air mixture is coming over here in this chamber. And you have a spark plug which is giving a spark, and a small amount of fuel is lighted here with a small amount of spark. So this is called a high energy ignition unit which is giving a spark. And for your information, this is working on 25,000 volt current. 25,000 volts, which is produced inside the aircraft. And then the ignition takes place. So through the tube, a real flame is coming out, which is put into the combustion chamber to ignite the fuel. And this is happening only for around 6 seconds. And within 6 seconds, the main jet fuel in the combustion chamber is lighted up. Thereafter, you don't need an ignition. Just to give you a simple understanding of the ignition system. And going further, coming to the afterburner, let's again have a look at this. So you have the compressor area here, low pressure, high pressure compressor. And also, you have the burner here. We call it the combustion chamber. And this is a jet nozzle through which behind the air and fuel mixture is going out. So this is again further, we call it the afterburner duct, the rear part of it. You don't find anything inside this, it's purely hollow. So the technology is quite simple, looks so simple. To increase the thrust all of a sudden, to increase the speed suddenly in the air or during takeoff, what we do is we spray a lot of fuel over here in this afterburner chamber and provide some ignition. So this will create a lot of fuel and air mixture to burn, and this extra amount of air and fuel mixture that is going out will give an additional thrust to the engine. So you can see this is the combustion chamber. Outside the combustion chamber, inside the jet pipe, the afterburner thing is happening. But a lot of preparation is to be done in this. And you can see this is called a variable area jet nozzle. Usually this is in a closed position. We call it a closed position. That means the area over here is minimum, but here it is an open position, because to handle the too much of thrust coming out through the jet pipe, you cannot have it in a jet nozzle, cannot be in a closed position, because it will give reverse thrust. It can result in an engine flame out. So to avoid that, this is opened up a little bit, which is all happening automatically. The pilot doesn't need to do anything. Everything happens automatically. If the automatic system fails, then the ground crew will know that. This is an aircraft without an afterburner, because afterburner system is used usually in the fighter planes, but in the transport planes you don't need an afterburner. But I have put this aircraft picture here. This is, which is the biggest aircraft in the world today, having 6 engines. And this is, you can looking at some of the parameters. Length is 84 meters from the front nose portion to the tail portion, that is 275 feet 7 inches. Wingspan is 88.4 meters, 290 feet is the wingspan over here. Height is 18.1 meter, that is 59 feet is the height of this plane. Wing area is 905 square meters. And fuel capacity is 300,000 kilograms is the fuel capacity of this aeroplane. You see, these 6 amazing engines have to work. Empty weight of the aircraft is 285,000 kilograms. That's a plain weight of an empty aircraft. Takeoff weight is 614,000 kilograms. That means it can take off with a weight inside, total weight of 640,000 kilograms. That means it is around 355,000 kilograms of additional load it can be put into this plane. Cargo hold. Cargo volume is 1,300 cubic meter. we speak about a house of 1,200 square feet. So, but here it is 1,300 cubic meters, and the cargo area length is 45.35 meters, cargo width is 6.4 meters, and cargo area height is 4.4 meters. That is the biggest aircraft in this world, and they have made only one so far in this world. We have only one aircraft, Antonov 224. You can Google for the videos of Antonov 224. It's amazing. You will just see like the human beings are moving around like a small kid. Coming further, we will
Toastmasters of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests.
Good evening.
Today, as part of the P5 technical team presentation, I and my team will be presenting to you an amazing technology which all of you have been using it over the years, but probably may not be aware of how it really functions. Can anybody in this hall tell me what this is? It's a Boeing, it's an aeroplane. The dream of flying has been there since the emergence of mankind. In the earlier days, men tried to fix wings onto their shoulders, but it miserably failed because of the sheer weight of the body. Then came the hot air balloons and the gliders. People went on top of the hills and tried to glide on. Because of the distance it was not able to cover, or because it did not have the real direction, it all failed. And we all know in the 1930s who the Wright brothers invented the first aeroplane which could really fly and take off. Today, what has happened? With the advancement of the technology, we have advanced planes which can fly at speeds much higher than sound, and they are called supersonic jets. Now, let me come back to my story. As a child, my favorite hobby was to make planes. No, not the real ones, these ones. The ones, and the favorite area of the flight used to be the classroom. And some of them used to land on my teacher's table. And where? Sorry. And I used to land in the principal's cabin. This hobby continued as a passion, and I joined the Indian Air Force in the hope that I would be able to make planes. Well, I didn't make the planes, but I learned a lot about planes, about which I will be talking to you today, in very simple terms. Now let's see what are the forces acting on a plane. There are four forces which are majorly acting on a plane, and they are the gravity, the sheer weight of the plane which brings it down onto the ground, and opposing it, the plane has a lift, gives a lift. When the plane moves forward, it makes a lift for the plane to take off. And then you have something called the drag. When any object moves forward, there is an opposition and there is a force which is coming in. This is known as a drag. And the force which makes the engine to go forward is known as the thrust. So in simple terms, the lift has to be more than the gravity, and the thrust has to be more than the drag in order for the plane to go forward and take off. Now let's see how this thrust and lift is built in a plane. Here you can see the cross section of a wing, the aircraft wing. When the aircraft wings or the plane moves forward, the wings cut the air in half. You can see the cross section here. The wing is curved on the top and flat at the bottom. So what happens? When the air is cut, the air at the top travels at a faster pace, or faster, and the air at the bottom is slower. Thereby, there is a difference of pressure built. There is high pressure where the air is low, and low pressure where the air moves faster. This gives a lift to the plane to take off. And in order to build the thrust, the engines are used in the aircraft. Earlier planes used propeller engines to fly. The propellers used to spin through the air and create the thrust which is required. And then there were the engines which used to run the propellers. Jet engines have replaced the propeller now. Today in any application, let's say the commercial or in the military applications, you have jet planes. And the jet planes travel at speeds much greater than sound, and hence they are called supersonic jets. The typical range of speeds are from 3,500 kilometers per hour to 4,500 kilometers per hour. Now let's see what are the controls in order to maneuver the plane. There are 4 major controls. If you look at it, you can find they are the ailerons, which are at the extreme end of the wings. Then you have the rudder at the tail end. You have 2 elevators here, and you have the flaps. These are the 4 main controls used by the pilot to maneuver the plane. Let's see the ailerons. The ailerons control the lateral movements of the plane, whether it is going, and this is known as banking in real terms. So when it wants to cause a roll to the right, it turns like this, and if it wants to go to the right, it turns in this way. So these things you can watch when you sit in an aeroplane at the window seat near the wings. You can see really how the ailerons are in action here. Rudder. This is the control which gives the left and right turn to the rudder is situated at the back or the tail of the plane, and once it is turned to the left, the nose turns towards the left because of the air hitting. The airflow hits the deflected rudder surface and the nose turns towards this position. These are pedals given to the pilots, so when he presses this, it happens, turns to the left or right. So a pilot really turns a plane by use of ailerons and the rudder. The next is the elevator, which is again situated at the tail end of the plane. This gives the pitch, the going up and down. So as per the direction of the elevators, the nose will go down or it will come up. And then we have the flaps, which are again just beside the ailerons, and the lowered flaps gives the pilot enough for the takeoff. This helps in the takeoff, or at the time of landing, it slows down the plane. Planes come in different sizes and shapes, but they all have the fuselage or the body in common. They have the tail, they have the wings, and they have the landing mechanism as common. So they have all these, the things are common. When we take a car, when you have any damage in a car, what do? When your car breaks down? You take to your mechanic and he fixes all the parts of the car. But if you look at it in a plane, there are 7 specialized engineers who are required. You have specialized doctors. Air travel is forecasted to be the most popular means of transportation in the coming years. There is a forecast for more than 50,900 planes to be delivered in the next 10 years, worth around $5.6 trillion. So it's a big business we're talking about. Today, gifting of planes also has become very common. Like this, the Airbus 319 was a gift by Ambani to his beloved wife on her birthday. Each yellow dot is a plane taking off. So there are 15 to 18 million flights happening annually, which means on a daily basis there are 40 to 50,000 flights taking off, and carrying around more than 1 million passengers. Going by this rate, I would assume that all of you, the planes will be replacing cars in the near future, and all of you parking your own planes in the courtyard.
In the courtyard of Toastmasters.
Now, can you see some additional fire being brought out from the bottom of the plane here? This is a jet plane. What is this technology known as? Does anybody know?
Turbojet.
It's a turbojet. And what is this technology? This is known as afterburner technology. This technology is given in order to have super thrust for supersonic engines to